let's get into it. I have only been live this week like once or twice, and I've been trying to be better, but it's just been a little crazy. So I apologize for not coming on, but let's chat this Sunday night. If you have not followed or not seen my announcement for the Stephanie Laynes Institute membership community, which we're launching in December, I'm going to try to push it for the end of November. That's where I'll be hosting all of my free masterclasses. So all of my masterclasses will go over pretty much everything that I have done in business, all my money mistakes, how to get better personal credit, how to get better business credit, how to do better social media marketing, how to purchase for your business, how to make increase in your business, how to have multiple streams of income in your business. I have a lot of people in my inbox right now since I posted that my credit was so horrible when I started my business. And then I have an 800 credit score now, and how it changed the way I was able to get business credit. A lot of people don't kind of know the importance of getting there, right? I used to do a tip challenge with my marketing members, with my mentoring group. And the tip challenge would be, we would hold on to our tips for months at a time, never count it, never do anything, but just hold on to our tips, put them into a jar, put it in the back of the closet, put it underneath the bed, put it behind the couch, never count it, and then write down what bills you needed to pay and what order. And it's so funny because there's a gal on there that sent me a message in March of this year, maybe February, that she has still been doing her tip challenge on her own. And I did that tip challenge about 2 years ago, and she used that method to pay off her car. So when you start understanding your money relationship, and you start understanding that your cash can be such an amazing and powerful tool if you understand your money issues. And most of our money issues stem from whatever issue we've had with money, whether it's not been enough, or it's been something that we just never thought about, or we could be better with our money decisions, right? I did a poll about 2 weeks ago asking people, what do you do with your tips? And a lot of people were like, oh, I spend it here, I spend it there. I didn't have not one person say that they used it to pay off debt. Not one. So when we have these intimate conversations, it's always important to me because I want people to not make the mistakes that I made in my business and the amount of time it took for me to correct my mistake in my business, right? So when you really understand the power you yield in your hands and the decisions that you make affect your business long term, then you start looking at money a little bit differently, right? It wasn't until I started really changing the way I purchased things to sell things that it became very obvious that I don't know how to purchase correctly. And I'll give you an example. And I say this all the time to a lot of the estheticians that come into the store when they want to buy. And I'm always saying, why are you coming in for just one can of wax? Why are you not buying two? And they're like, oh, I never thought about it. And I said, here's the thing, no different than retail products. When people look and see that you have a whole bunch of retail on your shelf, they think your business is going well. When they don't see retail on your shelf, they don't come back to your business because they think you're going to close tomorrow. And I had one esthetician just look at me in my face and say, I never thought about it from that way. I said, half of our business is thinking the way consumers think, right? We all know what we want. We want this, we want that. We want to work on these days. We want to take this many clients. We want to charge this much, right? But we never flip it to see how the perception from our customers are. Mainly because we don't ask them. We don't ask them. I'll never forget when I went into a spa and I went and laid down and I was on the table and we were talking about different things. And I looked up on her roof, on the ceiling of her room, and she had the most beautiful display on her ceiling and all the specials for that month. And I was like, And then I looked at her door and she had that same beautiful design on the back of her door. I said, that is so genius. She's like, everybody that comes in is looking at my ceiling. So I said, why not? Why don't I put marketing up there? Yeah. She's like, because people ask. They're like, oh, I didn't that that was on sale this month. Or I didn't know that that was special was happening this month. And I said, back of the door reinforces. She's all, it absolutely reinforces, because they look when the door is closed. Even if I have them hang up their stuff on the back of the door, they're going to read the back of the door. When they go into the bathroom, they read on the back of the bathroom. She's like, so I did all of the things so where the client would always be in the know. And I said, most estheticians only communicate from the cash wrap. They don't communicate from the bathroom. They don't put anything on the back of the bathroom door or the back of the treatment door or the ceiling over their treatment bed. Yeah, I like it. She's like, it works. I don't have to worry about people not knowing what's happening. And she's all, they're sitting there reading it while I'm preparing for them and they're relaxing. She's like, a lot of people just don't understand how clients think. And I said, that's such a great point, because the back of the bathroom is the best way to advertise, because yes, absolutely, the ceiling. Because if you understand what people look at, and here's the thing why I say the ceiling. As you know, my teeth, I've always had dental work done. My mom is she's a retired dental hygienist. But if you go to the dentist, they have things on the ceiling. It might be a cloud. It might be a picture of the ocean. It might be something. Why? Because our eyes are always drawn up to the ceiling and we focus on things in the ceiling. You know, you've been to the dentist and you focused on that little hole while they're drilling and you hear that drill going. It's no different when they have the lay down and they're looking up and they're talking to you. They're looking at the ceiling. But my point, a lot of it comes to is when you learn how the client thinks and how they spend, then you're never going to anticipate. I had a conversation earlier this week with someone and I was like, okay, so let's talk about the cost per service. How much does it cost you to do this brow wax? And she was like, I don't know. And I said, here's the problem I have. If you don't know how much it costs, then how did you come up with your price? I just guessed. Got it. So how much do you make hourly? I don't know. Okay. How much do you want to make hourly? Oh, I don't know. Well, why did you decide to work for yourself? And she was like, I just didn't want to give most of my money away to owners who just didn't connect with me. Okay, got it. Completely understand. But you have a service that you don't know how much it costs for you to do, and you're charging and have a price on your service menu that people are paying, but you don't know if that service price is covering the amount for you to do the wax service. So where can we start from here? Because your hourly rate should be included into every service on your menu. She was like, wait, what? I said, well, I can tell you my hourly rate. So my hourly rate is $100. So every service on that menu is going to reflect my $100 an hour requirement. Yeah. When I used to do my master classes and I had people fly out, I would use the cost per service by Angela Green from Skin Biz School, and we would plug in their pricing. And when we plugged in the pricing, most of the students in that training were working for only maybe $1 an hour, maybe $2. A lot of them were in the negative, meaning that that whole service that they had just done and charged for was completely free. They didn't make any money off of it because the cost of doing the service was more than they were charging for. So if you don't know your cost per service, if you don't know how you figured out how to get that number that you have on your service menu, how do you know you're making enough to survive on? And I would say in my years of experience with working with a lot of estheticians, many of them do not know how much they're making an hour based off of the service that they're charging for on their service menu. Most of them work for free. Because you have to factor in the stick, the can of wax, how much wax you use. You got to figure in your time. You got to put gloves in there, 2x2s, 4x4s, whatever you use. You also have to figure out your post-care. All of those have a dollar amount attached to them, right? So then once you add in your hourly rate, then you come up with your number. What I find is most people do the opposite. They're going to look around the neighborhood and see what other people charge. And then they're going to pull the number out of the sky and they're going to throw it onto that menu. And then they're going to hope for the best. So by the time they come and see me, I'm like, yeah, you're probably about $10 under, because we've also factored in your rent and your hourly rate. So if you do brows every half hour, that means a minimum for me, I have to have $50 minimum just to cover my hourly rate. So does that make sense? So if you have never done the cost per service worksheet, if you've never figured out how much you need to make from these services and then how much it costs to do the service, going into 22, you need to know how much each of your services cost you to do and whether you're making a profit from them. Because again, your services is not where you make money. It's the retail. Your service provides you with the livelihood in order for you to take money home and put a roof over your head. Your retail is what gives you revenue. And I've been doing retail forever. And the bigger picture about retail is the successful businesses have more than one way to earn income. Service dollars is one income. Retail dollars is another income. Website is another stream. Facebook group is another one. So you want to have more than one way for money to come into your business. So if it's only coming in from services and you're already not charging enough to make money to take home, we're back to having a hobby and not a business anymore, because the services are not covering the amount you need to take home and pay yourself. I learned that the hard way. I would take what was left over. I charged well. My Brazilians were $95. My facial was $250. But I did not purchase right, and I didn't pay myself regularly. On your line items, when you have rent, Stephanie is above rent. So Stephanie always has money in her pocket. Stephanie's paid, then the rent, then everything else. But if Stephanie's not paid, we got a problem. We go into business to pay our livelihood. But many of us take what's left over. We're not a line item. We're not as important as rent. But when I started putting myself above rent, everything changed because I didn't have to worry about it anymore. I always knew I had money. So if you've read my book, you'll notice that I talk about putting money and paying myself. I paid myself $5 a day. I would pay myself $10 a day just to psychologically psych my brain out into saying, don't worry about it. You have enough money. So put the money in your wallet and then go to work. When I wasn't doing that, I worked freaked out. Oh God, I need every client to come in because I have this bill due. So I can't have any cancellations. I can't have any no-shows. And when you work from that place, right? Clients know you're not relaxed. You're not calm. You're working from crazy, desperate situations. Client comes in to be super calm. They're not coming in to be all frazzled. That's what they have outside life. When they walk into your door and that door closes and they hear the music, they want everything to be calm. But in your mind, you're like, dang, I hope the rest of my day doesn't fall apart. I hope everybody shows up today. I can't afford to have a no-show. How many of us have been there? Many of us. But if we had just priced our services right, we wouldn't have to worry about no-shows and we wouldn't have to worry about people just canceling at the last minute because we already would have money into our pocket. My book is linked in my bio. So when you start really understanding that money relationship, it goes over to everything. I have a lot of estheticians who shop with me and they're like, oh, let me get 2 cans. How? When? Why are you buying just 2? The shipping cost is factored into that can too. No. Yeah, it is. Do you know the number on that? Oh, no. Okay. All right. It's all about numbers. It's all about numbers. But I love the cost per service worksheet by Skin Biz School. I teach on it. I train on it. I tell every esthetician that I know, especially going into the new year, if you're ready to raise your prices, the best thing you can do is know first if the service price you're charging is enough to pay you, or is it a free service? And I hated doing that the way I did it, but I had to because the people had to realize that you can't just pick a number out of the sky and put it on your service menu. $25 brows may not cover the cost of you doing that brow. especially if you have your hourly rate factored in. But then you have people, oh, I want to be competitive. There's no competition here. I got to have enough money to put into my pocket and take care of my family. So this is the price. That's it. And I learned to ask for what I want and what I need very early on. The reason my facial before I got out of the treatment room was $250 was because I went up from $125. I went to an amazing spa in San Francisco called Spa Radiance. They're still open now. At that time, they had a $3,500 treatment. And I kept saying, how are you getting $3,500 for a facial treatment? They're like, oh, it's the works. And we have so many people. Matter of fact, I think we have a waiting list. Would you like to get on it? I just want to know what's in it. And why does it cost $3,500? I'm like, oh, it was just the top of everything. And so they did the things in that service that no one ever did. Everyone loves to talk about diamond tip microdermabrasion, but they were doing ruby tipped and sapphire tipped and emerald tip. Ain't nobody still to this day doing tips with rubies. Still to this day, right? And I'm like, dang, ruby, my birthstone is ruby. I could get a ruby tip? Absolutely. So we do infusions, we do vitamin C, we do customization, we do caviar, we do all of these things. And I'm like, that sure do sound nice. And I said to myself, that's what it was. Not only was I intrigued to ask what it was, I was excited when I heard what was in it, right? So I went back to my treatment room and was like, I'm going to do some things that not every esthetician is going to do. And I'm going to charge $125 and I'm going to see if I get it. I got it every single time because it was the only the only facial treatment I offered on my menu. And I made it sound so luxurious. And it really was. And I said, everything is customized. So the LED treatment's customized to your skin. I'm going to infuse vitamin C. We're going to do caviar infusion. We're going to do all these things. We're going to use a water-based microdermabrasion. And people were like, oh my gosh, what is that? As soon as I had them say, what is that? They were booked. I moved it to $250 because I could. And the $250 was amazing because at that time, my rent was only $300 a month. I only needed one client to do my $250 facial. My rent was paid. She always bought retail, so the rent was paid. But the thing is I never had a problem making money. What I had a problem with is taking care of the money. Money coming in was never an issue. My problem was how the money went out. That's where I got into a lot of trouble because I never dealt with my personal problems with money. My personal credit was horrible. I never wanted to look at my personal bills, ever. I never wanted to look at my personal credit card. Ever. I didn't want to see how much money I owed. So I'm never going to look at the bill. I'll look at it, peek at it to see what day it's due, and then that's it. So my problem wasn't making money. My problem was making sure I handled the money well and spent it accordingly. And that's a hard pill to swallow when some people are like, oh, I don't make a whole lot of money. It's not about making a whole lot of money. It's about taking care of it when you get it. And do you have a good relationship with it? Or are you like, oh, I got so much money. I need to spend it on this. I need to spend it on that. Do you need it or do you want it? And is it a want or a need? Because if it's a want, you don't need it. That's why I got rid of all of my check cards. That's why I don't have a personal check card. That's why I don't have a business check card. If I need money out of the account, I got to go to the bank to get it. Which means I'm going to be accountable for how I spend it. Because if I'm going to take my time out to go to the bank to get it, then I need to have a great reason on how I'm going to spend it. I don't keep cash in my wallet because if it's in my wallet, I'm going to spend it. So if I don't know the card is in my wallet so that I can just swipe away my money from my account, if I never have one, then I don't have access to it. When I cut off access to it, I made better decisions with it. But if I had it readily available in my hand, I was going to spend it. And I was going to find a way to spend it. So even if I didn't need anything now, I was going to buy something just to say, oh, I'm going to find something I need it for. I'm going to need it in about a week or two. So I got to buy it now. I don't need to buy it. I don't need it. I wanted it. So then when I said, okay, I'm not going to have access to the money anymore. I'm going to take all my tips. I'm going to put them in the back of the closet. I'm only going to count it once a month and I'm going to put it all to my credit card bills. That's when things started to change. And then, of course, I met my husband. He didn't know my credit was that bad. I didn't tell him my credit was that bad, right? But then he started making me accountable because he started saying, oh, you got a lot of overage fees in here. Nobody asked you to look at my bills. Thank you. He's like, you're giving the bank free money. It's a write-off. Go away. Leave me alone. He's like, it's not a write-off. You're giving them free money. Like they're making so much money off of you because you're not keeping count of your overages. You're spending more money than you're bringing in, and you're not spending it on things that are actually beneficial for the business. But you're steady giving them money on all these overage fees every month. Yeah. I didn't ask you. This is a business expense. It'll be fine. I can write it off at the end of the year. He's like, but do you even know how much money you have been spending in overage fees? No. Why would I know? I still have money issues, but I can't admit that to him, right? I still have money issues. So he took it and added it up one day. And he's like, yeah, you had $25,000 of overage fees last year. What could you have done with $25,000? And instead of me being honest and foolishly and giving the bank that much money, I did the opposite. I went off on him. Nobody asked you to count it up. I did not ask you to do that. What I asked you to do was to put the statements in date order. That is it. You should never have looked at it, nor took a calculator and added it up. Thank you very much. Have a good day. It's like, why are you so upset? Because now I have to be accountable for it, right? I can't make excuse about it's being a write-off anymore. I can't make an excuse that I didn't know because I knew. I just never had the number in mind because it was out of sight, out of mind. Remember, I didn't open any bills. Remember? I didn't open credit card bills. I didn't open bank statements. The only time I opened bank statements is when I met with the bookkeeper. Other than that, they stayed in the envelope. So there was no reason for me to look at any of those things because I had money issues. So I was never going to look at a bank statement. I was never going to look at a credit card statement. Never. Because I did not want to deal with my money problems. It was easier for me to keep it in that nice little envelope into the folder for the bookkeeper. She could open it up and look at it, but I didn't need to because I was making enough money. So I thought. When that aha moment came, I was like, oh, I can never have an overage fee anymore because now he's going to be looking at all of it, saying how much money I'm giving to the bank for free. And I was mad because I'm like, dang, I'm giving the bank all this money, but they don't want to give me a credit card. They don't want to give me a business credit card. But here I am giving them $25,000 of free money. Yeah, I can't do that anymore. I can't do that anymore. So it pissed me off. So when I got pissed off at him, that's when I started really changing some things, right? So after we got married, I still didn't tell him how bad my credit was. I didn't need to, I felt. I didn't need to tell him anything. What I needed to do was to have him understand that with his credit being so great, we can open up a business card. They'll give him a business card, My credit doesn't matter. I give him a little percentage of the business. He opens up the business credit card. It's going to change the way we do business. It did change the way we do business. But my information came up because I needed to figure out how bad my credit really was, right? Rudy coming into the play, he had an 800 score. And most people that have that highest score don't want to be attached to someone who does not have that highest score, right? So when I finally downloaded or did Credit Karma, and I was like, my score is 583. He's like, 583? He's like, that's bad. I said, I don't know what to tell you. I make a lot of money, but I don't take care of it very well. And she's like, well, what do we need to do to take care of it better? I said, I have to work through and figure out why I have so many issues around money. And I don't know why I have so many issues around money. And it's not for the lack of not making money. It's just, I'm not great at being accountable to it. And then he's like, well, what can we do now? I said, well, and we didn't even have check. I think we have one check card. I said, well, can we just get rid of all check cards and not have any check cards? He said, fine. I said, so what does that mean? We're going to use everything on credit cards? He's like, yeah, I mean, I pay my card off every month. So, and I'm like, you don't carry a balance? He's like, you never carry a balance because you give the credit card company free money. So when we started paying our bills off every month and we don't have any balances, right? And I started getting excited because I started to see all of the decisions that I were making were no longer emotional. I was opening the bills when I got them right away, right? I was opening the credit card bills. I was opening the bank statements. I was opening them up. I was looking at all of them. I wasn't embarrassed anymore. I didn't have any overage fees. Like I haven't had overage fees 5 years now. And I'm like, this is such a great feeling. I said earlier in one of my IGTVs about how long I've been carrying debt and I really have been carrying debt from my business since I started my business. We didn't pay off our debt, right? Up until about almost 2 years ago now. So it's been a long time that I've been carrying debt from the business decisions that I've made. But when I paid off all of the business debt, and all of it was because I was using my personal credit. So when my personal credit got straight, my 800 credit score, I don't have any credit card debt. I don't carry any credit card. We pay it every single week, so we don't have anything going over. We barely pay any APR because it's always zero. Now I understand why it's so important to make sure that your personal credit matches exactly what you need it to match in order for your business to grow. And the key to a lot of those money-making decisions was me really sitting down and looking at how much money I was wasting. And I was wasting money that I did not have to waste. I was buying things I really did not need. I was making decisions on how I purchased with no strategic plan at all. I just bought. So when I talk to estheticians, and I'm always explaining to them, have you talked to the company you're partnering with? Do they give you free shipping on a certain level? Do they give you discounts if you buy 12, 24, 48, 96? Do they have any kind of partnership program that you can partner with them to where you can get some free gratis and free products? And most of the estheticians I talk to are like, oh, I've never really thought about asking them. And I'm like, the reason we started Afterpay at Smooth Skin Supply was because I wanted to have an option for our estheticians who may have been like me when I was in business and I could never get a business credit card. But the Afterpay option is no credit check and they allow you to pay off your bill 8 weeks later. So I really look for things that remind me of when I was a business owner. And if I would have had Afterpay when I had my business, oh, you guys wouldn't even see me. It would have been out of the water, honey. It would have been so different because I would have really looked at my business very different. I would have purchased different. So when I talk to the estheticians that partner with us and I give them hacks for Afterpay, I'm like, look, if you have $1,000 limit on your Afterpay, spend $500 on retail, spend $500 on services. Guess which one you'll make more money from? Retail. Oh, we also increased our now. So Afterpay, our limit for Afterpay right now is at $2,000. And I think I have a couple estheticians that are $1,800 and they're marketing members and they all do what I say and they buy half in retail and half in service use. And I say, once you understand your business and you understand where your money is made, it's not from services, it's from retail dollars. Then you'll start understanding why I give Afterpay options, why we do discounts when you buy in bulk, why we have our marketing club where I give free samples to all of our members. I give them free products every month. I give them options to drop ship to their customers. I do all of the different things because I never had a partner when I was in business that I could go to that would give me free marketing materials or give me free samples. I didn't have that. So when I decided to make my own brand and partner with estheticians, I'm doing things that I always wanted to do because I never had it. If I would have had a business that partnered with me and all I need to do was pay a monthly fee to get all of this free stuff, I would have done it. That's why I offer it now. So it's always important when you look at how you want your business to succeed. It's not only the multiple streams of income that you make, but are you strategically understanding how to make money? Do you know how much those services cost? Do you know how much revenue you make from retail? Do you have options for them to buy if they're not in your business? Meaning you send them an invoice or you have a website. Do you have a Facebook group where your clients can invite their family and friends to actually understand and get a relationship with you that have nothing to do with whether or not they come into your business? The biggest thing and the biggest flex that I always tell people is, do you make it easy for people to spend money with you? Because when they come into your business, they expect to spend money. Do you allow them to spend money with you? And if you do, how easy is it for them to give you money? If you can flip your business and think like that, then you're going to kind of look and say, maybe I don't make it very easy for people to give me money. Maybe it's not as easy as I thought it was for them to give me money, even with the intention of wanting to give me money. That's when you sit down and think in that critical way and you understand how consumers think, then you're going to rethink your whole business model, because it may not be that easy. There may be some people who don't and can't and don't have the option to spend money with you that easy. So that's something to think about. All right, guys, I'm going to jump off here. I'm going to go on to my Facebook page, and then that'll be my last lives for today. But I'm glad everybody's on here. I will save it under my IGTV. That's where all of my stuff is. I have new videos up on my YouTube channel, and then I'll try to come again this week. Celine has our first dance convention this week, and we'll be out of town. So I'll be dance momming this weekend, Halloween weekend. But I'll try to come on before I leave. Okay? All right, guys, take care. Have a great night. Bye.